we have a crazy, crazy guest today. I can't believe they allowed us to get this guest. A world-renowned Brazilian center back, Thiago Silva. How's it going,
I'm
T?
sorry. I'm going. It's going good, but I think there's maybe a little mistake here. I'm not the football player. Well, I'm a football player, but not maybe the one you're thinking about.
Oh wait, you're not Thiago Silva?
Sorry, I speak Portuguese, but I'm not from Brazil, and my name is without an H. That's the difference. The
Oh,
the
okay.
one with the H is the professional player, and just an amateur one.
Well,
But we
I
can we can keep doing this if you want. I don't mind.
I actually copy pasted your name, and it still came up with the Brazilian center back.
Oh, well, like my mom says, you can never trust what the internet tells you. So.
I feel like maybe you need to get some of your Portugal Timber stuff, like I don't know, like checked with its search engine optimization, so your name comes up over his.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'll do that. I'll call Google after we finish this call.
I'm just joking. We have a very special guest, Portugal Timbers. You started a Facebook uh, page
Yes, yes.
dedicated to spreading the word about the Timbers all over Portugal. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, actually, I started that page maybe like a year ago or something, and it's just basically to share my thoughts about the Timbers and maybe first I said it was dedicated to the Timbers fans in Portugal, but there are not that many Timbers fans in Portugal. So I guess it's just to get more Timbers fans over here, but also for like anywhere around the world that love the Timbers want to, listen to what I have to say about the team. And basically that's it. I just use it for that.
So you're in Portugal. How did you
Yeah.
come to love the Timbers? Like, how did that work?
Well, my fiance is from Oregon, and that kind of helps. But I guess if I go back to the beginning, it started in 2012 when I visited Portland for the first time, and we were driving around in my fiance's sister's car, and we drove through Providence Park. And I didn't know the Timbers existed, and I asked, what is this? A baseball, football? And Sarah, my future sister-in-law, she said, "No, this is the soccer stadium for the Portland Timbers." And I was like, "What? Soccer in, well, first of all, soccer in the U.S. and then soccer in Portland?" And that's it. I started, when I came back, I started following the team, and I got a Timbers jersey, 2016. So 2014, I got a Timbers jersey. And I can say that from maybe September 2014, I started following the games, and that's it. And the rest is history. I became a big fan all of a sudden, and I can't really explain why. It just happened.
So how do you watch the games? Is there a place you can go where they're playing the games?
No, exactly. I just watch them at home, and basically I rely on fake websites and stuff like that. Usually it works, but sometimes gets a little bit slow and stuff. But because there's not that many people trying to watch the games, so most of the times it's fine. And starting last year, Eurosport, the European sports channel, they bought the rights for the MLS, and so once in a while they show Timbers games, and that's amazing if I can watch the Timbers game sitting on my couch with no problems about the sound and the image. Well, last
I
I saw they practically after the playoffs, I think they showed all the Timbers games.
so I'm wondering when are you going to start that Portugal supporters group?
Let's see. Well, right now, I was actually surprised. There are a few people here that are also crazy about the Timbers. I wouldn't say more than five, but, but
That's a good
that's
group.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy actually said that he has been to the stadium before. He has because I think he lived in the U.S., but not from here. He lived there, and you know the team, and he's completely crazy about the team. For me, it was like, what? No, come on. I thought I was the only one, but you know, there's more. There's more people apparently. You know, that follow the team and stay up all night to watch the game.
So you're like, I gotta test you. Do you
Okay, do
know?
it.
Do you know who Michael Nanchoff is? To this
Yes,
guy.
I do. I do. Well,
Yeah.
didn't he go to Florida?
Yeah, he did. He went to the Rowdies,
Uh,
right? Tampa Bay.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so, what I wanted to talk to you about was when you found out that the Timbers are going to make the MLS Cup.
Mhm.
You said, "This is really important. I gotta go."
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
tell me about like the decision to go. Like,
So the Timbers made it to the final on a Sunday night, right? Because it was the semifinal against who did we play on the with Dallas, right? So we tied the game 2-2, and then like you said, this is maybe once in a lifetime opportunity. I hope not, but at the time, it felt like it. And I started doing the math and like flights and accommodation, ticket, and it was just like over 1,000. And I thought, this is too much money. I can't, I want to go, but I don't have enough money to go. So talking actually to another Timbers fan online, he said, Alex Smith, he said, well, you should start a Kickstarter fundraising. And I was like, what? What is that? How does that work? And he basically told me, and I did it. And in, I believe, 5 days, I had $700
wow.
raised, which was just enough to buy the plane ticket. Because the plane ticket is always the most expensive part.
Yeah.
And this was on Wednesday, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. And then I bought the ticket Thursday night, and I left Friday morning to New York. And that's it. It was just like done. I'm going tomorrow. Like I called my boss at work and I said, this happened. I gotta go. And he said, well, what can I say? Just
Yeah.
go. And that's it. But it
You
was
have
basically.
yeah. You have a great story about one of the donors to your cause. Can you tell us that story?
Well, I have. Well, basically, I could say two or three good stories, but maybe the one you want to hear is about Elvis Powell. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. So, I follow the Timbers players on Facebook and stuff, and I can say I exaggerated a bit and send messages to all of them and like, I really appreciate your help. And and then this guy replied, Elvis Powell, on the Facebook chat, and he said, "I'll give you $100." And I was like, it's probably not him.
Yeah.
And I said, well, great, thanks. Can you go on the website and just make a donation? And he said, well, I don't do online stuff, but if you can come meet me in Portland, I'll give you the money. And I was like, yeah, but I'm in Lisbon. I'm on the other side of the world. And then he said, well, sorry, man, I'm not gonna do the online stuff. I don't trust online stuff. And I was like, okay. So I called my future sister-in-law. She lives in Portland, and I asked her, what are you doing tomorrow? Can you go meet this guy? He has some money for me. That sounds pretty weird. And actually, she's also a Timbers and a Thorns fan.
Nice.
So uh, Elvis gave me his phone number, and he said, "Here's my phone number. I'm gonna get a tattoo tomorrow. Don't give my number to anybody." And when he said that, I thought, well, maybe it's him. It would make sense that he would say that. And then I gave his number to my sister-in-law, and she texted me back and said, "Well, I just called him. I'm gonna meet him tomorrow at a tattoo shop." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, but if it's kind of weird, if you call him again, or if it sounds weird, don't go. Okay? Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's just some weirdo. You never know." And I went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning and I had a message from her with a picture uh, from her with Elvis Powell, and she was saying, "Look who I found." That's it. And the guy donated $100. And I said, thanks, man. That was great. And he said, you're welcome. I hope you can come.
That's a great story.
That's a really crazy story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Morrison also donated some money. He donated $20 also.
Nice.
And yeah. And Ross Smith too, the guy from,
Yeah.
you know who he is. He also donated some money. So, and I actually have to say thanks to John Dottie. He's also a Timbers fan. That he got the ticket for me to go. You know, because the tickets were all sold out. But on Wednesday night, he texted me and he said, "Well, I have a ticket for you. I can't go. Do you want to have it?" And when he sent me that message, I was like, you know, that's it. It's time to go.
So you actually flew to New York, right?
Yeah, I flew from Lisbon to New York straight, and then this is funny. I got to New York, but I didn't have. The only way I could get to Columbus was on Greyhound, and it was the cheapest way, but it took 15 hours. So I would have to go. I would have to get up really early, and it would be all day. So this other guy, John Acerbi, another Timbers fan from the Timbers Army, he sent me a message asking, "So do you have a ride yet?" I said, "No, man, I don't have a ride. It's too expensive to fly. The trains are really expensive, so I'm just gonna go on the Greyhound bus." And he texted me back and he said, "Well, here's the email of my friend that is driving from Philadelphia. Just send him an email, and I'm sure he will drive you there." And that was it. I sent him an email, and he replied like 5 minutes after. You know, now I would be honored to take you. Just stand on the corner of like 89th and Central Park West at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Really?
And, yeah, and there I was. I was just like, is this guy coming or not? Is this fake? You know, like 9:05 or something. This guy's is driving next. You know, I'm standing on the corner. And this guy honks the horn. Meet me. You know, like, come on, let's go. And that's it. And like 10 hours later, we were there. We drove to Cleveland to get another Timbers fan that flew from Oregon, and then Sunday morning we drove to the game. That's it. It was just like a ton of events that all went on the same road, you know, in the same direction.
That's really special, man. Like
Yeah,
that 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 is a great story to have for the Cup.
exactly. I mean, if the Timbers didn't win, it would also be great to be there. But you know,
Yeah.
winning, it's just like amazing.
So I think we met up at the pre-party or the
Yeah.
tailgate, right? So you got there in time for the tailgate.
Yeah, we got there like at 10:30 a.m. I think, because I specifically said, listen, this is maybe the only time I'm going to watch a Timbers game, but I want to be at the tailgate, and they also wanted to be there because they're crazy fans, so we were there maybe since 10:30 or something like that, and that's when I met you.
So how much sleep are you working off of?
Oh, what, right now?
No. During the tailgate.
I mean, I'm sorry, what do you mean exactly?
Like how much sleep did you get in between the time that you left and the time that you got to the game?
I'm not that kind of guy that needs to sleep that much. So I just 5 or 6 hours. Come on, it's a Timbers game. We need to sleep anyway.
That's true.
Yeah,
But the game ends late, right? Like
Yeah. The game here, the game here, they usually end at 5:30, depends. Uh, I've had days where I slept maybe 2 hours and then went to work, because
yeah.
I can't really miss a game. I mean, there's no other option. Have a bunch
So
of coffee the next morning, that's it.
so you enter the stadium. Game starts, festivities or whatever first,
Yeah.
and something happens 30 seconds in.
That was pretty crazy, man. I had a few beers before going on the stadium, because they were giving out free beer. And the Oregon beer is pretty strong. And in the U.S., you have bigger cups than over here. So here, if you have 3 beers, you're okay. But if you have 2 beers without eating that much, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna slow down because I'm not gonna remember the game if I drink too much. And then 30 seconds later, I remember like I was actually looking at the pitch and I saw Valeri stretching out his leg and I saw the ball went in and I was like, what? What just happened? Everybody was like, they couldn't believe it. But I think it was more unbelievable on the second goal. Like what? 7 minutes and it's 2-0, and that was pretty crazy. It was just like after I believed we could win, but when Wallace scored the second goal, and I could see that the Columbus team was not, they were not being able to create any chances or anything. And when we got to halftime, I was just like, we got this. We're gonna win it.
How did you feel right just before kickoff? Were you confident just before kickoff?
I was really confident. Yeah, because the team after the regular season, they were just. For me, the LA game was the turning point because they lost the game against Sporting KC 1-0, and I was like, okay, we're gonna be destroyed at LA Galaxy, and then we beat them 5-2, and it was one of the best soccer games, football games I've ever seen. And after that game, I was like, okay, these guys can actually do something. So I was pretty confident.
So, how do you feel about that game just for after the 2-0? Because it was after that, I think it kind of woke Columbus up a little bit. I don't think that we were ever in danger of losing the game necessarily, but
No, I don't think.
but Columbus came alive after that. Walk me through post 7 minutes.
I mean, it was expected. They needed to score goals, or else they were going to go behind. When Kamara scored that goal, I was like, this is going to be hard. They're maybe going to score a second one. But they had one shot at goal the whole game. They were not able to create any chances, or so. I was kind of scared when they scored the goal, but especially on the second half, the Timbers just kept possession of the ball. Sometimes they couldn't get the ball, and we actually could have scored 2 or 3 more goals at least. Those balls that hit the bar, and those we could have scored. I don't know, maybe we could have won 4-1, and it would be perfectly fair and normal. Because the second half we just mastered it. We ruled the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe, I feel like the general consensus, but in hindsight, and I think we all got to worry a little bit about hindsight, is that going into Dallas, there was a lot of nerves. And that
game was crazy.
Yeah, and well, that first game against Dallas, I think, is where we really, showed that we could be dominant. Just coming off that Vancouver match where we basically, I think, tactically worked our way into a victory. Seeing as in the Dallas match, we just we let the players free, let them beat up Dallas. And Dallas is a great team.
They are a good team.
Yeah. And then coming into Columbus, everybody was really confident, but it was like, man, we're in another team's house. They're very good. They seem to kind of be set up to beat us, I guess. They throw a lot of long balls in to Kai Kamara. We're not necessarily great in the air. Everybody seemed to just feel like, no, this magic there's something about this magic.
Yeah, but for example, they have a really good, Kai Kamara, what's his name, Higuain, the Argentinian guy.
Yeah.
They're really good, but I think Caleb Porter knew that their defense is not that good.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you heard this, but I heard a podcast, I think it was on the official podcast, and he said that he knew that they made that play sometimes on the first goal, that they would, put the ball to the goalkeeper, and Valeri knew that he had to go there and pressure the guy because he's sometimes slow, and maybe because it was on the, I don't know, 30th second, was it? 30th second?
I think it's 30th second.
He was probably like, this is like the 30th second, nobody's going to get here, and then all of a sudden Valeri just
speeds up, and boom, that's it. Because the small details make the difference, and in this case, I think there was that made the difference. The small details, and then on the second goal, come on, the ball went out. That's true, the ball went out. Let's face it. But I mean, as a professional player, you don't stop playing it until you hear the ref blow the whistle.
Yeah.
Or that's they made two big mistakes, and but then they paid a high price for that. But after the seventh minute, maybe if you take the Columbus uh, goal, I don't think they had any like clear thought that they might win it. Only when
Yeah.
they scored, they had like a little bit of hope, and we were like, oh my god, I wish we could get to halftime with 2-0.
Yeah.
But except from that, they were, I would say maybe after like the 60th minute, when we kept possession most of the time, they were just, they felt and they looked defeated. That's, what do you think? That's my,
I definitely agree with you, and I think a big part of maybe a way to describe this is like the Columbus fans,
yeah,
because
exactly.
they were defeated. They
They
knew
were-
that they spent
Yeah,
however much money to get into that stadium for the cup, and they were going to watch their team lose it at home, which you could feel their frustration. Like it was
oh man,
radiating off of them.
I felt bad for them,
It
'cause
was kind of sucky.
yeah, they were actually pretty nice when we got there, and like they were giving us jelly shots and stuff. And I was just talking with the guys that I went with and saying, man, in Portugal, this would never happen. The guys from the opposite team would probably want to stab us or hit us with bats or throw rocks at us.
Yeah.
And I was pretty surprised about how nice the people were there.
Yeah, it's funny that I think what will be remembered for like the grandest stage of Columbus fans is them throwing beer and the woman flipping off the camera.
Oh, yeah,
Whereas,
totally.
like before
Well,
that,
exactly. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
I will know. Just before that, they were really nice and they came over and gave us free
Yeah.
beer and talked to us and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. I mean, actually, you don't know, but on the second goal, I was celebrating, and then I felt some beer on the back of my head, and I thought, well, somebody maybe threw a cup in the air, that happens. And I looked to my right side, and this girl that was standing next to me, she's on the floor with her head, with her hand on her head, and somebody from the Columbus side threw a bottle of beer, completely full, a glass bottle of beer, and it just went like this on top of my head, and it landed on her head, and
oof.
she had to get medical assistance, and like she was really bad. And then 2 minutes later, the guy was arrested, and then I would say maybe 20 minutes later, she came back to the game, so everything was fine. But that's pretty dangerous if you throw a completely full bottle, at somebody's head. But there's always going to be idiots anywhere. I mean,
It's true.
in general, they were amazingly nice, actually.
I mean, it is a lot of beer to be thrown. I mean, I was on the field and I had a beer like just kind of like graze the side of my face, like a fully full beer. It freaked me out for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh shit, what's going on?
No, exactly. I mean, you could actually die if you get hit on the head with a
Yeah.
bottle,
I mean,
And I
or the
remember,
eyes too. Like eyes
yeah,
are like there's an NFL player who a yellow flag was thrown into his helmet and he was
whoa,
blinded and lost his career. Like,
whoa. Yeah,
yeah.
people get really crazy with sports, they get. And I remember before the game, I went to get some beers, and because here in Portugal, you can't. First of all, they don't serve beer with alcohol in the stadium. There's just non-alcoholic beer, and I was surprised for that. And the second thing I was surprised is that I asked, can I take the cans with me? Can I take the bottles with me? And they said, what do you mean? Oh, is it allowed? And they said, yeah, it's fine. And I was really surprised, and I actually thought, well, if some guy drinks 3 or 4 beers, he might get a little bit violent, but well, fortunately, nothing like really bad happened, but he got really like seriously hurt.
Yeah. So take me. Did you get a chance to like celebrate after the match?
Yeah. Uh, we went to that place where you were, actually. What a coincidence. What was the name of that place? I don't remember.
It was
Like,
called Bakersfield.
Bakersfield. Yeah, they had really good Mexican food, which when I go to the U.S., I always uh, get some really nice Mexican food because here in Portugal, Mexican food sucks. And then
Hey,
we,
here in Portland, Mexican food sucks too. I'm from Southern California. I'm actually from Bakersfield.
oh really? You're from there?
Yeah, yeah. So like, I'm used to really good Mexican food, and we were
Yeah,
just like, hey, it's serendipitous. Let's go to Bakersfield.
exactly, exactly. And then we went to a bar where everybody was. I don't know if you went there. Um, it was packed with Timbers fans. I don't remember the name of the place. It was just on a main road in Cleveland. And I think we stayed there maybe until I would say like midnight or 1 a.m. And then everybody was really tired because we had to drive back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So we stayed there until 1 celebrating. And then we went back to Cleveland like at 1 a.m. or so. It
I
was
heard
amazing.
I heard at that place two stories that I heard at that place. I forget what it was called too. I didn't stay long, but that one, there was a entire bar singing "We Are the Champions."
That's true. I have video of that.
Okay, and two, that Merritt bought you guys shots or a round or something.
Oh, maybe he went there after we left. No, I
Oh.
didn't see him there. I didn't see him. There were rumors saying that, oh, the team is coming here, the cup is coming here, but I don't think that happened. I think they stayed at the hotel. I think the owner of the bar was saying that so more people would stay there and get more beer or stuff like that.
So I do want to ask you about this off season. Um,
Okay.
Particularly, news just came out today
Yeah, amazing.
that Rodney Wallace is going to play in Portugal.
Yeah, exactly. I was having lunch today and I was watching the news, the sport news on my phone on a Portuguese website, and I saw Rodney Wallace signs for FC Aroca, and I was like, what? Come on, is this possible? Because FC Aroca, they're like maybe the Chicago Fire of the Portuguese league.
Oh no! Oh no!
You know, this team has been on the minor leagues for 30 years. I mean, really like second, third division, fourth division. And they came to the first league maybe last year. And so it's a really small town, really small club. I think their stadium, like, maximum capacity is 5,000, so it's a really tiny stadium. And I was super surprised that he's here already. He's in Porto because Porto is the second biggest city, and Aroca is close to Porto. So I think he flew in today, and his first practice is tomorrow. And I was like, what? I mean, even my friends here were asking, why is he leaving the Portland Timbers to come and play for FC Aroca? Like, is it because of the money? Because a friend of mine, he knows a FC Aroca player, and he knows that he makes 2,500 euros a month, which is like $2,500 a month. And I was like, I don't have a clue why he came here. It's not for the money. Maybe he has a deal to stay there until the end of the season, because there's only 5 months to the end of the season, and maybe he already has a deal to go to a bigger club somewhere in Europe. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe that's what's going to happen, or maybe he just wants to play here in Europe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody I've talked to that knows Rodney or spent any time with him is basically said he's kind of a hard nut to crack. Like, nobody really knows what he really wants or whatever. And it's weird that he would go to a club, such a small club, I guess.
Really
Like,
tiny, yeah.
5,000 people. That's not very many.
There's the thing. I bet that their median, like, average attendance is like, what, 2,000 people. So
Yeah.
it's super tiny, super tiny club. Maybe the language factor helped, because he speaks Spanish, and usually the people that speak Spanish understand Portuguese. Maybe I don't know, but I wish him well. I'm gonna keep a closer eye on the FC Aroca games for sure in the next. Actually, my Portuguese team, Benfica, they defeated FC Aroca on the last round, and we're not gonna play against them anymore this season. So I was wishing I could maybe go see a game where he was playing, but I don't think that's gonna happen soon.
Maybe you should talk to him on Facebook.
Yeah, I am gonna send him a message saying,
Yeah.
if you need help, places to go, stuff to see,
Yeah.
I'll be glad to help.
That's great. It's hard for me because I feel like. Let me ask you this: how likely is it that he's getting paid more there than the contract we offered him?
I mean, I would be extremely surprised. How much did the Timbers offer him? Do you know? I don't know if that's official or
It's
it's not official, but
It's not official. I will say that I've heard that it was 250K a year, and he wanted 350.
For FC Aroca, that's completely impossible. I think I don't know. The maximum they would pay would be 75,000, maybe 100. I don't know. There must be some hidden deal behind this. I don't see, or maybe he just decided, well, I'm gonna make much less money, but I'm gonna play in Europe, and I'm gonna, bigger teams will have a closer eye on me.
Yeah.
But I would say that he's not gonna make more than 75,000 or 100,000, and that's saying a lot. That's for such a small club and such a small team. So it's a really tiny place. Maybe I don't know, 15,000 people live there. It's a nice place to live at, but I don't know. It's not because of the money that he came for sure. It's not.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
So, just in general, like the off season, we lost a lot of guys, and a lot of good guys, and we brought in some people.
We did.
How are
I
you?
mean,
How are you feeling about it?
I think it was a good off-season for the Timbers. It's going to be the hardest guy to replace is going to be Villafana. I mean, for me, he was after Nagby, he was the best. After Nagby, when he started playing in the middle, he was the best player of the team.
Yeah.
Because he just owned the left space of the pitch of the field. I think he didn't play a bad game. All the games he played were extremely good. I don't know Clutie that much. I don't know what's going to happen, but overall, I think we got really good players. I don't know if they're going to be players to play in the first team, but they're going to be players that when it's necessary, they're gonna make some good games, and because I think we were missing that last year. If we had an injury or some player couldn't play, we didn't have that many options.
Yeah, we're definitely deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think with that potentially we'll see more lineup combinations, more maybe more tactical diversity? Maybe we'll jump into a 4-4-2 at times. Do you think that's something that we're going to see in the coming season?
I think that Caleb Porter, last year, learned, and he said that. I heard an interview from him. As soon as Valeria and Nagby started playing together in the center, he was just okay, I have to stick with this. The team completely changed when this happened. So I don't think we're going to see major tactical changes on the team this year. I think he's going to do exactly the same thing as he did last year, but now he has more options. And I think that I hope that this year it's going to be Milano's and Esprilia's year. Because Esprilia last year in the playoffs was amazing. He just looked like a completely different player. And Milano, maybe during the off season he practiced how to score goals, and because he's a great player, he's so fast.
You do you know that he's, I think, sixth all time in MLS transfer fees?
Sixth, really? It was 5
Sixth of
million.
all time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they paid so much money for him, it's because they knew he was really good. And he's an amazing player, but he's young and he gets too anxious sometimes, and he just doesn't stop to think when he's in front of goal. But no, that's something he's gonna get with with age and being more calm in front of the goal. So I hope that Adi doesn't leave. I've heard that Sporting Lisbon is actually interested in him, which sucks for two reasons. Because it's Sporting Lisbon, and it's because he would not play for the Timbers anymore.
Now, are you hearing that from your side of the pond, or are you hearing that from over here?
From here.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah. Something possible with, it's just rumors. That's how it's.
Yeah. So basically, I think the thing from over here is that the Timbers don't want to get rid of him at all, but they might have to eventually. But if he's pushing for it, they're gonna basically try to stall it until at least next year, where they can prepare and get another player. So that's interesting. It's interesting that it's coming from your side too.
Yeah, sometimes it's inevitable. Like, the player's career is what, 10 years, maybe 12, 13, and if they have to make money, and sometimes it's just inevitable. You can't really offer them that much money, but I hope he stays for this season. I don't think he's gonna leave. Because he's starting the preseason. About Wallace, I think he was super important last year, but I think it's easier to replace him than Villafan. You know, because maybe Milano can play on the left and Australia can play on the right. And then let's see. I heard Merritt Paulson saying that they're looking for a replacement for Wallace.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of player it's going to be, but I think we need at least one more guy for that position, for his spot.
For depth, at least.
Yeah.
They hired.
One more. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying they hired Ben Polk. That maybe he could play on that side, but he's a young guy, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to happen.
So there's one more change that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
And that's the swap of Maxi Urruti and Jack McInerney.
Yeah. Well,
how do you feel about that?
I don't know Jack that well, so but from what I've read and I've seen, he scored a bunch of goals in his career. Maxi Urruti was really important, but he wasn't always on the first team. And from what I know, he wanted a lot of money to continue. And I mean, does it make sense to pay that much to a guy that sits on the bench most of the games? So if he wanted to leave, I think, and if the team couldn't pay more money, it's fine. And I just hope that the new guy can put it in.
So I know that Jack McInerney his wage bill is pretty high.
Yeah, when I saw the amount of goals, I was like, what?
Yeah.
So many goals.
Do you think he'll be worked into the first team, or how many starts do you give Jack McInerney this season?
How many starts? Hard to say.
Let me say this: will it be more or less than Urruti last year?
Maybe less. Maybe less, because now Caleb Porter knows that the best way to play is with Adi alone in the front as a striker. So it's kind of hard to tell. What if Adi is injured or something? If he leaves, he's gonna play a lot. But if Adi doesn't play, starts, I would say not more than 5 actually. On a normal situation with Adi, in shape and playing, I wouldn't say more than 5. But I think he's gonna play a lot of games, but as a sub. Maybe replace Adi a bunch of times, or when we need to score goals, maybe put him together with Adi in the front.
Yeah.
But I would say 5 or 6. I just hope he scores a lot of goals.
Well, he'll definitely have a lot of chances, right?
Yeah, exactly. With those guys just passing the ball to him, I hope that happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tiago, man, it was so nice catching up to you. I was so happy when I got to meet you at the tailgate, and keep going with Portugal Timbers. It's super fun, and I can't wait to talk to you again, man.
Yeah, you too. And thank you very much for the invitation and keep the podcast going. I'm always like anxious on my podcast app, like checking for updates. Oh man, no more. I'm not gonna say Timbros anymore, but no more PTF Collective podcast. So I just want you to know that I listen to them all the time.
Definitely, man. We're basically trying to extend our vacation as long as possible, right? Like, it's a very short off season.
It is. Well, for Portuguese terms, it's a long off season because the off season here usually is 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I hope that the Timbers always have a really short off season.
It's true. Great point. That's a great way to end it. Thanks, Tiago.
You're welcome.
Have a good
Talk
one.
to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.